Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. This is my E46 BMW, and this video is going to be about installing the HomeLink garage door opener in your 3 Series. I got this out of a 5 Series BMW in my local salvage yard. You can also find them in 7 Series. If you don't have a salvage yard in your area, you can also get these off of eBay. I think they run about 45-50 bucks. Installing it couldn't be simpler, so let's get started. Okay, it's very important that you don't pry from back here, otherwise you'll break the 2 plastic clips that are up here. You need to get this out first, and you just take a screwdriver and just pop it down. See these 2 little clips that kind of hold it up into place. And then you can just kind of take your fingers and pull it out that way. Make sure you disconnect that little connector right there, and boom, you got it out. Now, you got to look closely. See right here, one of my little clips is broken there. Make sure you don't break it off all the way. This one looks good. I've already had this off before. This one's good, and looks like this one broke. See, before these 2 had bent in this little area, and I sort of glued them back into place. But now it looks like this one's also broken a little. It just happens, you know. The plastic's really old, and it's just brittle, and it just kind of breaks over time. Anyway, I'm gonna repair this shortly. Now, you can see that I've got a couple. Well, this is the one that was already plugged in, but over here there should be another little bundle of wires up right here, as you see. This was the only one that I could find at first. You know, it's wrapped with this little black this little thing right here. And if you unwrap this, you'll notice that there's one big fat connector, and then there's a 3-pin connector that's black. And I thought this was the connector for the garage door opener for the longest time, but it would just, you know, it would never ever work. And I never saw this white connector because it was just buried way up and back here, just hidden where I could not see it. I had to go digging. I really had to really look for it. So the secret ended up being, if I looked at the connector for the motor for the sunroof, if I just followed that wiring loom, this little connector for the garage door opener, it comes off of the same wiring loom. So if you can't find yours, that is how you find it. It comes off of that same wiring loom. And of course, it's going to be wrapped up with some of this black tape as well. You just kind of unwrap it, and it's basically the white one, and that's the one that we're going to be using. So these other ones, I don't know, I think they're for like the microphone, you know, for the old cell phone system that nobody is going to use, you know, all that stuff. So that, I just have that, you know, tucked up out of the way because not using it. Only using these 2. So now we're going to proceed to cut out this little thing here very carefully with a utility blade so that we can pop the HomeLink controller in. So in order to cut this out, I'm just going to make some really light cuts in this outline that they've already left for us. I'm just gonna keep on doing that, making some light cuts. Don't want to press all the way through. I don't want to cut through that fabric because I want it to look really nice and neat. So I'm just doing light scoring cuts multiple times. I'm just going to keep repeating this until I get all the way through it. So I believe I've got it. See, I'm pushing through from the bottom, and it's coming up. It's supposed to be glued to this thing, but, you know, after a while the foam's so old that, you know, it just comes right up. So now I'm going to make some triangular scores in the fabric. There. Cut it that way. Come down from that angle. Cut it. Come down here. Give it a cut. See, now it can kind of come up through. Just cut this back a little more. Cool, so now these little flaps can just be pushed back, and I'll just install the module. snap it in there. And even if you did kind of, you know, end up cutting through this fabric, it's okay because the module has a little lip on it. So it'll, you know, there's a good chance it'll hide some of your sins as long as they're not too bad. And yeah, so we've got basically a perfectly installed little thing. So now I'm going to put some epoxy on these little things, and particularly I'm going to concentrate on this peg that's kind of broken here. This is the really important one. If this one's loose, this thing's going to buzz and rattle when you got your stereo loud. So I'm going to spend a little time, I'll put some epoxy on that, I'll leave it overnight, then we'll finish with the reinstallation. So I'm going to use some plastic weld, JB plastic weld. It's just an epoxy. I think any 5-minute epoxy is probably more than enough for something like this. Toothpick to mix it around. Okay. So we are completely broken off there. I don't want to get this on me. Okay, hopefully that's good. You know what? Looks like I got 2 other ones that are broken off here. Do not remember doing that myself. But I've taken this thing on and off a couple of times, and I know that if you do not get this corner on correctly, it rattles. Okay, good. So fortunately, I need to leave that to dry for 24 hours, but I'll just finish this on up in the morning. Alrighty, brand new day. Looks like we are all done. These might have fallen over a little. Okay, never mind that one. That one's not even really necessary. And well, looks like this one's a little down, a little far down there. Hopefully I'll be able to clip it in. Anyway, let's go install this thing. Alrighty, just plug it on in. Looks like this is upside down. One there, one there, and just got to get our little, these little plastic clips over the back here. See, that back one didn't go, and it broke. Okay, a lot of good that did. So that probably means this thing's gonna rattle, but I will fix it if it does. For now, let's finish this thing up. Okay, with ignition on, looks like we have power. To erase the codes, you gotta hold the 1 and the 3 for a very long time, I believe. For some reason you have to hold these for 30 seconds or something. There you go. Now when it's blinking, codes are erased. Okay, to program it, hold the button down, get your old remote, press the button. When it starts blinking rapidly, it has been programmed. You let go. Sometimes you have to hold that button down for a little while. As you see, as you can hear, it's now programmed. I'm gonna hold it down for some reason with mine, I gotta hold it down for 1.5 seconds even with my old one. Hold it down, it stops. Hold it down again, it lowers.